Hello everyone, welcome back. So in our WebDriver IO series, today we are going to see how we can customize or make our config files as a clutter free for our particular project. So if you see that in this WebDriver IO TypeScript project, we have actually added a lot of different configurations, like for browser stack, for your normal configuration like your local run, and also we have configured this conf.ts file to include your GitHub actions as well. Like if you'd have seen here, we are adding the concept of headless also, right? Because your GitHub actions need the browser to run into a headless mode. And also the same thing we have even added like the Docker configuration as well. Now as we grow, right, with our framework capabilities, the configurations files will be like more and more. The reason why we splitted these configuration files to make it more isolated for each of these executions, so that you can have a shared configuration file which would be the base of your project, and then all other configurations will be sharing the base one, and then you can add your own. It's kind of the inheritance concept, right? So but as we grow, this becomes complexity, like you need to maintain, and your folder structure will become huge actually. So for that reason, what we are going to do today, we will make these configuration files clutter free for our particular project. So I'll show you what I'm trying to talk and what are the different changes that I need with respect to this project to execute the test cases smoothly. Even that one we will be discussing. Okay, so for this, what am I going to do? I will open my terminal and I will first clone this one, because this is a new laptop. I don't have this project. So let's do everything from scratch. So I'll just go here, this SSH here, the link is present, so I will just copy this one and I will open my terminal and I will navigate to the folder where I want to keep it. So for this, what am I going to do? I'll go to this my projects folder, actually here, this directory. I'll create a new folder called as wdio, and here I'll just right click, I'll say new terminal add folder, and you can see that a new terminal got created with the wdio directory. So let me close this and close this. So here I will say git clone and I will copy that particular name. So here, because I'm maintaining two different projects, two different git accounts, right? So I'll make sure that I'll make it as skp dot. So I have already discussed about how to maintain two different git account and ssh key generation in your machine. So you can just refer to one of our session and you will get to know. So I'll just say enter, and it cloned that. And if I go to this folder here, I'll say here wdio, and you can see that this is where this project is open. Now I'll just drag it to my, let's say that to my Visual Studio Code, and I'll just say that yes, I trust the author, and here this is my Visual Studio Code which I already installed. So now let's do one thing, and we will be opening the terminal and I will be loading all the packages that is present into the package.json file. Okay, so for this I will be going and doing npm install. So all the packages will be installed by creating a node modules here. Okay, so the node modules folder also got created. Now let's see what are the different errors it is showing. So let me minimize this, and here if you see, okay, wdio jasmine is not found. Okay, no worries about that error. I'm not sure why this error is coming, but all these packages we have just installed it, so we should be good with this. So what am I going to do just to make sure that this existing the tests are really working fine or not? I will just run it for once. So I will do one thing, I'll just change this one here. So okay, so this is 112 version and I have the Chrome browser as 112 also. So I'll open the terminal again, clear this, and I will say npm run wdio. So it will take this configuration, whatever the test that I have mentioned, and the script is already mentioned in this, right? wdio run wdio conf.ts. So now let's run this test. Okay, so as you can see, one got passed, two got skipped because that was intentional to not to run the test case. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is that I will create a new folder because we were looking into this config files are like cluttered here and there, right? So I want to keep it into one location. So I will say config and I will take all these config files into this particular directory. Okay, and let's move it. Okay, and then update the imports for this one as well. Okay, so let's save this one and let's come back here and see what are the different errors it is showing. So like if you see that this import data from, so this app data whatever you are seeing, right, this is not currently present into this. Actually, like when I was keeping this wdio.conf.ts as a global, right, this dot test used to be applicable, but now because I put it into a config directory, so I need to put the proper path of this app data that is under this. Now how do I traverse inside this directory to this? So I will just say that double dot means that I'm coming out of this and then I'm going into the test and then the usual process. Okay, this LO report, we don't really need to worry about that because we are saying that dot. So dot reports, in this sense I'm saying that the project root directory you create that, and you can see it created also last time. Okay, so I'm just keeping that. Now let's come down and you see the ts config, this is also present into the root directory, so I'm not giving any dot slash or anything. Okay, and then the specs, like if you see that the spec folder is coming from your dot test, right? So now this is again from the location, actually from the initial location. So what am I going to do? I will keep it as dot test. So actually it is not required. Why? Because whenever I'm saying dot test, right, this config file whenever I will be running, it will say dot slash test, so it will try to identify that from the project root directory. But because I'm fetching the data from here or this importing, it has to be the correct path, actually that is from dot test actually there. So that is the difference. Now let's see if this doesn't run properly, then we will try to give it as a double dot, but I believe it is not required at this moment. Okay, I think we are pretty much in good shape. Let's come back to this as well into our backup. So this is a backup folder, you don't need to worry about that, but still let me look into that everything. Yeah, everything seems fine, no need to worry about that. Now let's go to the package.json. Why do we need to change here? Because if you see this script section, right, this script section always, I mean this package.json finds wdio run wdio.conf.ts. Now when I'm saying this, it is trying to identify in this root folder, but this wdio.conf.ts is under config directory, right? So I'll just make sure that I'll say config and then I will say slash. The same thing for the b stack, config slash. And I think there is no docker one, maybe I missed while pushing the code last time. No need to worry about that, so I'll just say that docker, and it is coming from this docker conf, right? So I'll say wdio and here I will say docker. So everything seems fine, there is no issue. Let's go to this particular pom and the specs, and you see there is no issues are there, so it should work fine if we run this test case. Let's see that. So I'll let you know one thing actually here. Sometimes what happens when you npm install, right, and you see that under this node modules, this wdio, if you don't have these types, right, then it will throw an error into this conf.ts here. Okay, so what you can do, sometimes this is not readily available when you clone this particular project and do it. So a good practice is that we can add this particular, what you call that, wdio type as our dependency. There is a dependency available for this. So sometimes if any type errors, if you get it, it's recommended to use this particular. So I'll say control v, or I can type it also. and you just need to do that npm install. Okay, so now let me clear this and run this test to just make sure that after moving all these config files into this config directory, is the test case is working fine or not. So I'll just say npm run wdio, and you can see it is execution of one workers. Don't worry about this error. Yes, and you can see it is also identifying the test case path as well. Okay, so one got passed, two got skipped, and let's see the report folder also. Okay, so now let's see into this index.html. So right click reveal in finder, and then right click here and open with Safari. Okay, and you can see that this is coming as loading. No need to worry about that. So there is an option, local access. So if you go to this particular help right here, it is saying that to access the local files into this Safari browser, right? So what you need to do, first open this Safari browser. So let me open this Safari browser in a new window, and then come back here, and it says that you need to go to the preferences advanced tab. So go to the preferences, right? Safari preferences, then advanced tab, and here say that show develop menu into the menu bar. Close this and then come back here, and it is saying that on the develop menu disable local file restrictions. So let's come back here and then say that go to the develop menu, and it says that disable. So let's see where is that, and here you can see disable local file restrictions. And let's close everything, and let's try to reopen this into the Safari browser again, and you can see that it opened, and here you can see that one test case got passed, the two got failed. So it means that the path is working fine to run your test case and also to pick up the report and then putting it inside the yellow report. The only one thing you need to just make sure that if there is any issue into this types it is coming, you just need to add this wdio types. Okay, I will keep this particular what you call entire stuff into the GitHub. I will update this so that you can get the latest. But I think when we switch to the 8 version, right, we don't need these types because we need to change this as to the global types. So I will show that in our upcoming session. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today to kind of see and how to configure the clutter free config files, and then now you can add as many as config files as you need. Okay, so hope this session is helpful. Stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. We will be seeing some more interesting topics in our upcoming sessions. Thank you for watching.